Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 257. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Monday, June 22nd.
Oh my goodness.
June
No, it's
22nd.
not. It's totally not June 22nd.
Yes, this time next month, SSK will be over.
Over. Oh my gosh, no. That's
Yeah.
so silly. That's ridiculous. 3 weeks.
Yep.
It's insanity. There's so much to do. In my head, I'm going to knit 6 sweaters by SSK.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, we need things for the
Totally.
try it on room. Oh, speaking of which, I need to make that note at the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you talk first about your knitting?
I have very little knitting this week because I have been abusing my parents. In that,
Not in a physical abuse sort
no,
of way.
no, no. In that they are moving in a week, and they've got all this free time. They're not packing or anything, but well, that's one thing. So I've been like helping them move stuff around a little bit, like they're storing stuff at my house, which is totally awesome. There are pictures of like a baby Wheezy in my garage. I will get you some to show you later.
Nice.
Anyway, and so I've had like a list of things for them to do because
Tasks for the parents to
I'm
accomplish.
spoiled rotten. And so we installed, and by we I mean Mama Linneman, a ceiling fan, and then because I had this ugly like brass candle chandelier, which were super. I remember in like 1990, the house that
They
we
were in
lived in
every house.
had it. So I wanted, because that was in my kitchen. It gets kind of warm in the mornings, and I like to sit there and drink coffee and spin. So Mama Linneman put in a ceiling fan for me.
Now, is this kitchen or like your dining area?
It's like it's the dining area.
Because the kitchen has a fluorescent light, right?
No, that's gone.
Oh.
That's a chandelier now.
Oh.
Kind of, sorta. That was the first light fixture we fixed. So, and then when my roofers redid my roof, because I was at Leslie's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
surprise, roofer show
Just
up.
randomly.
They there were like the really lame, like glass bowls that go over light bulb type fixtures, and they fell and shattered.
How many?
Just just one fell.
Okay.
Well, there was one that already didn't have one. So like when I moved in, it was already missing that glass piece, or they had painted over half of it or something crazy. The people who lived here before me were crazy.
It's always interesting when you buy a house somebody else has lived in and you find all these things and you're like, what in the world?
The black wall, like when I moved in, my fireplace wall and the bookshelves were all painted black. The built-ins. It was very bizarre. Anyway, so they put in an LED, this cool light that's like you don't need a light bulb for it. It's all these little LED bulbs.
Mm.
Super cool.
Yeah, they're more expensive, but they're supposed to last a lot longer.
Yeah, it was $30 at Lowe's. I had gift cards.
Mm.
That's what I got for Christmas from everyone. So they were around doing stuff, and we moved a bunch of stuff from their house. Like I got their old kitchen table. So not a lot of. That's a long story to say. A, I'm spoiled, and B, not a lot of knitting's getting done. But I started knitting hexapuffs.
Because you're not crazy enough.
I know, it's like adding that next level of craziness.
And that's the title. Let me mark that down.
So one of the pieces that I inherited is an antique chair and desk that go together that were in my room growing up. And when I was like 9 or 10, I decided to paint the chair with nail polish, as you do to antique furniture. So I am going to make a little chair seat cushion thing out of hexapuffs. So
So now we're down to one chair pad?
Yeah, just one right now.
Because when I was initially contacted about this, there were much grander plans.
Perhaps. And so coloring book yarn, every time I order from her, she sends like these little
Samples.
And it says 15 yards equals one hexapuff. I don't even have to do math. It's all there for me. So I have a couple of those. Plus I have like little scraps of yarn everywhere. Leftovers from self-striping socks and little bits and pieces that are like 15 yards that are all over my house. So I'm knitting them into hexapuffs. So I don't actually know what any of this fiber or yarn is, but I am in the process of knitting one. I'm knitting them on size 0. No, these are size 1s, 2.25 millimeters. because I can't knit socks on size 1s anymore. I had to go down to 0s. So I might as well use those ones for hexapuffs. And my friend Jane a couple years ago gave me this huge bag of fiber fill. And so I'm just grabbing out of there and filling hexapuffs. So that's the first thing that's on my needles. The second thing that's on my needles actually only got like 1 row worked on it. And that is the Outlander colorway of... This is on size 1s. I should have gone down to... No, that's pretty good dense fabric. The Outlander colorway of Two Sisters Yarn Company. So that is on Sock Rockets, a 40-inch cord, which I don't like, but I'm dealing with... I like the 36-inch cord for a single sock to magic loop.
32 is what I usually use.
32, 36. So this is the second one. And this is the first one. And they're going to be true afterthought heel socks. They are very, very pretty. And I'm enjoying working on them when I have time. They've been hanging out in my purse, which I haven't really been going anyplace but Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart. So they haven't gotten a ton of love. But they will. They'll be good SSK knitting, if nothing else. They'll get finished by SSK.
Oh, yeah. You'll be done with them before that.
So those will have a true afterthought heel where I cut a stitch and unravel, and then pick up.
That sounded almost like a threat. I'll cut a stitch.
Well, now there's a different title for the show. Which one will you choose?
I know.
What else do I have on the needles? Oh, I have Belle Isle on the needles. If I can find it. Where did it go? There it is. This went with me to Father's Day shenanigans with Wheezy yesterday. This is the Belle Isle little baby sweater. Smallest size, which I think is a 3 to 6 month size. Out of Bamboo Pop, which is a cotton bamboo blend. It's really nice. It's soft. I am I want to say 4 inches of the 5 inches of sock net that I need to get. So I just pull it out. Like yesterday, I hung out with Wheezy for Father's Day, and we got ice cream. There's an awesome new ice cream place in Hernando that's like Jenny's ice cream.
Is it better than the milkshake place with
yes.
300 flavors?
Well, I don't know. If you want milkshakes, then the milkshake place is better, and they have food there too. But the ice cream place
is
makes
artisanal.
Yeah, like artisan handmade ice cream made in shop every day, and they sell pints too, which I almost came home with a pint, but I did not. Yesterday I got I'd never been, but Weezy's been going every day. Gotta fill up before you move.
Isn't the whole reason he's called Wheezy because he wanted ice cream?
Yes. And Wheezy is my nickname for my father, for those of you who might be new to the show or may not know that information. It doesn't really come up very often. So he and Mom got like a brownie something and then salted caramel. They split a 2 scoop, and then I got a scoop of brown sugar coconut, which was delicious. But they were both very good. But all that ice cream place sells is ice cream. The dip, which is the crazy milkshake place, sells like every food.
Yeah, it's like a drive-in sort of
fried food that you can possibly think of. They have. So I think that's it for me. Oh, the Hexapuffs pattern is not actually Hexapuffs. It's Beekeeper's Quilt, and it's linked in the show notes.
And it's by What's-Her-Face.
Oh, yeah.
I can picture her in her little fairy forest. And
yes. What is her name? Oh, no. Oh, I could click on the show notes, and then I could tell you. It is...
We're so fancy.
We are fancy. Tiny Owl Knits. There we go.
Tiny Owl, yeah.
I knew that. And that's about it for me. I'm trying to think if anything else exciting and new is going on with
there's lots exciting. It's just not knitting. You've had lots of exciting things happen this week.
I have with my spinning. It's been super exciting. But we'll get to that later. What are you knitting on?
I have lots of stuff on the needles, which I'm not super comfortable with, but...
I love it when you get stressed out because you have like 5 projects. It makes me so happy.
It's just...
Such a good friend.
I don't actively work on all of them, but I just don't like having all of that stuff.
So tell me everything that's on your needles.
I have the Pebble Beach shawlette, which I haven't worked on in over a month. I have Bridgewater. I have the Trick top-down sweater that I also haven't worked on. I know I should, but I just haven't touched it. Dude.
I'm the boss of your knitting.
I've got a colorwork hat by Coop Knits on the needles.
Ooh, that's a good one from the Toasty Volume 1.
Yeah. I've got the Ricky hat by Green Mountain Spinnery.
That's 5.
I've sort of got the socks for my quilting barter, although really they're just ripped out, so they're not really on the needles. And then I've got 2 shawls. So I have 8 items on the needles right now. And
I think you have more items on the needles than I do right now, which makes me gloat a little.
Yeah.
That's totally not true, because I have 4 pairs of socks that just need the heels put in.
Oh, and I've got a pair of socks, too, so that's 9.
Oh my goodness, what will you do? You should finish the cardigan.
I'm more motivated by the shawls right now.
Okay.
But I would like to have it finished, because it would be great stash yardage.
That's true. And it'd be good for chasing her. So
I'm knitting mostly this week. The only thing I've knit are 2 shawls. The first one I showed you last week, I had just started it. It's the Joker and the Thief.
Yeah, that's pretty.
This is knit out of the orange is Dream in Color Jilly and the Great Pumpkin. And then the gradient is a Neighborhood Fiber Company set. Shades of Periwinkle. And it's living in my very first Amy Beth bag.
Oh,
it's huge.
Oh, look at that.
It holds all my balls of yarn.
It holds all your balls.
Amy Beth holds all my balls of yarn. Yep. So there's that.
Did you pre-order an SSK bag, by the way?
I didn't, no. Because I am a glutton. And also Suze gave me a new one, so.
Oh. Did she give you one of the sheep ones?
No, she gave me the huge red one. Like the,
oh.
where she did 3 different colors, red, blue, and yellow, I think. Of like a floralish pattern.
Yeah.
Suze couldn't decide on a size, so she ordered a couple, and then I got the leftovers, which I'm okay with.
Very sweet. Suze is a nice person.
She is. The other thing I've been talking about a couple of weeks is Lily Pilly. I finally wound the yarn.
Yeah.
That's on. It is by Amba O'Brien. And this is the pattern shot. It uses 3 colors, and they're all contrasting colors. And I am using these 3 colors. I guess you can't really see that. This is, okay, here, I'll read them because I kept the tags. The red is, oh, it was a special one. Sangiovese.
That's the one from Renee's Yarn Shop, local
right.
yarn shop, right?
The Tinsmith's Wife. And then this is Splish Splash.
Oh, I like that one.
These are all Hazelnut's Artisan, except the red is Hazelnut's Divine.
What's the difference between Artisan and Divine?
Artisan is the basic sock, 90% merino, 10% nylon. And then, oh, it doesn't have it on there. That's weird. Oh, there, it's under there. And then Divine is merino cashmere silk.
Wow.
And then the gray, which Megan Crafty Pancakes sent me, is nickel.
Pretty.
So.
I do love a gray.
Yeah, you do. My goal was to get to the first lace section.
Look at that.
And mission accomplished. I did that. This thing's going to be enormous, by the way. And it's an asymmetrical sort of parallelogram, kind of. So, it's actually not that uneven. It just looks that uneven.
So, is the striping done now? Like,
no.
Done for
There's
forever?
multiple sections of striping. But in between the striping, there's these sections of lace.
Huh.
So, I haven't seen a pattern done in that way before. So, that's part of the reason that it really intrigued me. And also, I've fudged the lace a couple times already. Which is fine. That just means I have to keep it, because I wouldn't want to give away a gift that's all messed up.
Yeah, that's exactly why you should keep it.
So, and the only reason I'm not working on it now is because there's more lace, and I would just fudge it up again. So, I'm waiting.
There you
go. I've worked on nothing else knit-wise this week. I've been mostly working. I haven't done a whole, and cleaning. Michael's got some friends coming into town. Not
Who's
for like a
coming?
month, but still. Keith and Erica.
Oh, yay. That'll be super fun.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get all the deep cleaning stuff that I
Who's
haven't done.
watching their animals while they're up there?
I do not know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, they have a zoo like us, so.
They have a rat,
They have
right?
2 rats now because one died. Because he lived like 7 or 8 years or something, way past his life expectancy. And then he was sad, so he got a pair. Because you do. Anyway, that's all the knitting that I have, and I have finished nothing this week.
I finished something!
Yay! I haven't even seen this. Oh, yeah, you showed me the blocking picture.
Yeah, I finished, and it's been sitting on top of fiber, so that's awesome. I finished, what side's right? Okay, this side. I finished French CanCan, which looks like this. It ended up being around 60 inches wide, and maybe at the deepest point 15 inches deep. It is a garter stitch shawl with an applied edging, and the edging is lace and then cable and then a double yarn over with a picot, so it's knit that way. This is out of Volmiza blend, and I used size 7 needles, and it is my first Camp Loopy project. I ended up using around 500 yards. I had a skein that was a little overweight. It was around 158 grams. They come in 150 gram put up, and it's a sport weight instead of a DK weight, so it's a little bit lighter. I should try it on. I haven't even tried it on.
You were so on a mission this week.
Well, it was, I was blocking it actually in my living room because my guest bedroom, where I typically block, I block on boards on top of my guest bed.
Has people
Now,
there?
well, no, it doesn't have people yet, but it does have 4 sewing machines and 3 spinning wheels in there. So, Mama Linneman stuff has come to live at my house.
Yay!
I have 8 spinning wheels in my house right now.
That is pretty epic.
It is pretty awesome. And then yesterday she found all her bobbins for the shocks, so then I got a big bin of shocked bobbins, which may get used.
Oh man, I could do such a fun Photoshop job if you had all the spinning, all the wheels in one shot, and then you moved and you spun at each one. I could do such a fun.
Oh, that'd be fun. That's not gonna happen.
No,
I don't have room for all of them.
in one shot. Yeah,
I have 4 in one room. And in my living room, I have the Reeves right now. No, I'm down to 3. I have the Reeves, I have the Hanson, and I had the Lendrum, but it's moved to back to the kitchen because it was in there while the kitchen was getting worked on with the ceiling fan. And then I have the Sidekick in there, and then the Bug is in my bedroom right now. Anyway, so I have a lot of spinning wheels, and my mom has a lot of spinning wheels, and they coexist well, but they couldn't all be in the same room because there's not enough room in my house for that.
there's like spinning wheel animosity. Like the Lindrum doesn't like the shocked.
Cut a someone. So I don't even know. Oh, so when I blocked it, I blocked it in the living room on the floor with my blocking boards. And what I did was I put I have the Infinity wires, and I put a wire through this top increase section, which I think was just a yarn over every other row. And then I put a wire right here in the mesh, like the last row of the mesh.
That butts up against the cable section.
That butts up against the purl and the cable. And so I stretched it out that way, and then I just let the cable and the picot be. Because I still wanted the 3-dimensional of the cable, and I was a little bit too lazy to block out the picot. But also, like, I didn't feel like running another wire to make sure it wouldn't stretch out the cable. And I think it looks fine with it just chilling. I mean, all the double yarn overs kind of went the same size anyway. So
I mean, I think the feature of that whole edging is the cable. So as long as the cable shows well, then that's yeah.
So I'm very happy with it. The yarn was not up to what I typically consider Volmiza standards. Like Volmiza standards, she typically does not sell any skeins with knots. And this one had a knot, which is not a big deal. And it also had like one section that was a little bit slubby. So, but overall, like that's not a big deal. And 500 yards, that's a huge put up.
God, you're killing me with titles this week. You just made me think not a big deal would be a good one. But,
Aww,
but it's not better than I'll cut a stitch.
Yeah. So, anyway, we need to save those titles for another show. Once they get said, they leave my brain for forever.
I know.
So that is French CanCan. I need to take pictures. I need to post it to Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup because that is the only project that I have for classes this month. And then I need to post it to Camp Loopy. So all those things will happen. Probably on the last day of the month. But yeah, so that'll be available for the tasting, the try it on room for sure. And that is it for me for finishing. Did you do any spinning this week?
I did a little, yes.
Oh, let's see.
So I started my Three Waters Farm, the Honky Tonk.
Oh, that's what's on my Lendrum.
And I chose the Polworth Silk Blend. Laura and I both did.
Because we're twinsies.
And because it's a silk blend and it'll tend to spin itself thinner, I sort of ate it by breaking JC Boggs' rule and splitting my fiber. So I split it in half lengthwise and put half of it away. I re-braided it and just put it to the side.
Yeah.
And then I split it lengthwise down in like no thicker than thumb wide sections.
So how many total thumb wide sections do you have?
I think there were 8 originally, and I'm about halfway through. So this is 4.
So are you going to spin the other one the exact same way as you're spinning the other half of the braid the exact same way, or are you going to fractal spin it?
I'll spin it the same, but I'm not making any effort at keeping colors consistent. Okay. So whatever happens, happens. And I'm spinning it on the mini spinner.
There you go.
And this is about 1 ounce, and it's got blues and browns and
very pretty,
sort of bronzy colors as well. And this is on an Acreworks bobbin. On the Hanson already said that. So again, it's just about 1 ounce. Just last night, Kobe wanted to watch the Box Trolls. So
that was not a good movie.
That was a hard one to sit through.
I got through I rented that from Redbox before it went on Netflix, and I got through 15 minutes, and I knew the guy's voice because it's the guy from the IT Crowd.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, but it was no, I couldn't do it because I don't.
He wanted to watch it, so we did, and this kept me sane. But that's all the spinning that I did this week.
Okay, I've been spinning quite a bit. I am doing the Three Waters Farm Honky Tonk. It is on my Lendrum. The way I am spinning it is I split it in half, kind of like Leslie did. And then I split one half into 5 sections. And then the other one I am going to spin straight. So the 5-section one, the blips of color will be smaller. And they will match up with big blips of color that I will have from the other half. So that's fractal spinning, kind of, sort of. Fractal would be 3, I think, technically, but whatever. Other things still on the bobbin. This looks like such a hot mess.
It really does.
Love it. This is my Romney that I dyed myself that is totally turning my fingers and hands blue or green and blue, and I can definitely tell where I apply. I wash my hands, so now you can't see, but I hold it and it goes across here, so I have this nice green line here. It is oversupplied on purpose. So this is going to be a cable ply. So what this is a 2-ply right now. You can see the 2 ends. You could if I hold it still. So this is already 2-plied, and when you 2-ply for a cable ply, the first thing you do, this is a 4 cable ply, is you spin 4 singles all going the same direction. In this case that would be Z. And then you ply 2 back on itself, adding a ton of extra twist, about double what you would usually use, and you ply them Z direction, and that's what I've done here. I have 2 bobbins of these, and you can see they're totally overplied because I'm getting a lot of what we call pigtails, which is fine. My mini spinner hates me. And these were all done. This was spun on the Sidekick but plied on the mini spinner because I could not treadle enough to make this happen in a quick, and I treadle fast.
I was going to say, you treadle really quickly, so I don't know how you would need like an extra super high speed whirl.
And I have a high speed whirl, the higher speed whirl for the ladybug. Anyway, and the Shocked is here. The Matchless is here.
Mm-hmm.
So that could happen. But, so then I plied it, adding lots of extra twist, the Z direction, S direction, and then I'll ply it back again into a 4-ply. But really, I'm just plying 2-plies back on themselves, the original way I spun it.
So do you have all 8 ounces actually spun?
All 8 ounces are spun. All 8 ounces are plied for the first time.
So then you just have to take the 2-plies and ply them together.
So it was taking me around 5 hours for 2 ounces of the singles. So that's a total of 20 hours there, because you know how I am about time. And then each one of these bobbins, this is all I've done all day, was ply these. And a little bit last night too. And they are 4 hours applying time, basically. So 8 hours applying today. And then as soon as we get off this, then I'm going to, because you want to do it while the twist is still fresh.
Yeah.
From what I've been reading. And I'll lose a lot of this twist. Hopefully this works out. I've been using Sarah Anderson's book as a reference. That's been my main reference for this. So, and talking to Mama Linneman, who I don't know has actually cable plied, so she might be a good one.
Yeah, but she's like the kind of person who can read something once and in 20 years will still remember it.
She's also taken like classes with Ann Field and like all who else? I don't know. All these fancy spinner people who know stuff that I don't.
Ann Field's like the main lesson I took from her class is it's spinning.
But no, she took someone with the woman who washes everything lock by lock, who does like the incredible lace spinning. She took classes with her too. Anyway.
Wow.
So then I'll apply it back, and hopefully this will not be 8 ounces of doom and despair. But if it is, it's a learning experience, and that's how you learn, by failure, in my case, a lot. So that's been today's project. Yesterday's project, and a little bit of Saturday's, was this. So this is 800.
Doesn't it look harmless and pretty?
It does look pretty. It's so pretty. It's so teeny tiny. Look how teeny tiny it is.
But it's been a naughty scheme.
So, earlier this week, Mom came over and made adjustments to my mini spinner because I had like a 1/4 of an inch in the back where it was kind of rattling when it closed. So we moved the screws a little bit, and you can do that on the mini spinner. It's got like this movable plate with the screws, and we moved it so it was forward a little bit, so there wasn't as much play, because it was loud to spin on.
Yeah.
And it was overheating and turning itself off. So from what we had read on the Hanson boards, that might have been like a major culprit of that. So we fixed it, and I was plying onto an Acreworks bobbin, and it kept shutting itself off, and I was getting really upset with it. There's one of the knots. And so I continued on. I would let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I'd start over again. And I finally was like, I'm seeing little plastic shavings.
Never good.
No, and the back of my mini spinner had actually eaten away like the core of my bobbin. So that's my fault. That's not Acreworks' fault. That's totally mine. So the end of the bobbin popped off, and then it became like a tangled mess, and it was just insane. So Mom and I spent 3 hours untangling it and getting off the bobbin, because 848 yards of lace weight. And at that point, there were 700 yards on it, and I still had like 300 yards of single supply.
Yeah.
So that's why there's one of the knots. So we got it with only 2 knots.
It's really impressive.
So Mom was like, and Wheezy, actually, the best part is Wheezy sat there while Mom and I were working on it. He did go get Starbucks for him and Mom, but he sat there patiently and read.
Because he knows.
he did not lose like patience at all, which was it was Father's Day too, so it was really nice. So this
Aw.
is a 2-ply merino lace weight. Like I've been saying, it's 848 yards. It's still a little bit damp because it just got its bath last night after it was naughty. But it's really, really pretty. It was the Yarn School colorway for fall of 2014.
Hmm. You got some amazing yardage on that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. It is like a true. It is a lace weight. I mean, that's two.
I can't even spin singles that thin. I don't even like spinning singles that thin.
I was like, you can spin singles that thin. You choose not to. That's not the same thing. Anyway, so that's the first thing, and I'm gonna do probably a shawl out of it, but I don't know which one. That a lot of people on Instagram have been leaving suggestions, but if you don't know, if you know something I should do, you should leave a suggestion, like the viewers, not you. But you could do this as well. Leave a suggestion in the thread. And then like my spinning like mojo has been terrible. Like I must have done something terribly wrong to someone. Because then I spun, I applied a 3-ply called Black on Holiday.
Oh yeah.
And this skein has been cursed from the first. So I had spun 2 plies of it for TDF last year.
Yeah, I remember this.
And then I took the third to SSK and lost it.
Yeah.
So one of the thirds got lost. And so I begged on the boards, and Continental Kim sold me an extra braid that she had, or just sold me her braid because she felt sorry for me. You really should, because this is a sad tale of woe. And then
Ooh, so we could blame Kim. Let's blame Kim.
So then I took a third out of that bag, and so I finished. So I still have like 2/3 of a bag to still spin. And when I soaked it, I put it in before I went to bed with soak wash and lukewarm water, and the water was black. And then I dumped that water and I rinsed it again. So actually, I'm kind of happy because these right there were super white, and it was a very stark contrast. And this thread was white.
I think you're choosing to see the good.
No. So I don't like super stark contrast, which is something I need to remember. So it came out pretty nice. It's only like 250 yards of a 3-ply BFL. But overall it came out nice. And then I'll have another 2/3 to spin, but that's going to wait. That's going to stash a little while until I forget that it bled everywhere. Yeah. And then when I do it again, it'll bleed everywhere again.
Yeah, in a couple years when you get to it and we podcast about it, you'll be like, I remember now.
And this is a 3-ply, so it's pretty. That's 2. So it came out pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like a DK weight 3-ply. So, and then last but not least, this is another terrible story.
Oh my gosh.
So I applied some Cormo that had been on the wheel, and it is overplied, and that's on purpose because Cormo is a short staple fiber, and I wanted to add a little bit of extra ply to it so that it might stay together a little bit. Yeah, like extra ply twist.
Oh, okay.
So it would stay together a little bit better, but I had tied it in 2 spots, and it actually, you can tell it's like,
man, that's a big old honking skein.
One of my skein ties exploded, so now it's kind of, I don't know how I'll get it, but it'll have to be hand wound. So, whatever. It's gonna be, the Cormo. It's just so sad. I need people who like untangling stuff. The Cormo is gonna be the outside of, I'm gonna do the Pop Blanket by TheKnitGirlls. Mm-hmm. So this is gonna be the outer. And then I'm going to, I have 2 patchwork kits from Hello Yarn. That's going to be the middle of the squares, and this is going to be the outside.
It's a good plan. It will make it hand wash only, though.
It will, but it's for me. This hand spun blanket, and it'll be put someplace where Humberto can't find it. Or not taken out until after.
He goes over the Kitty Rainbow Bridge in the sky.
Yeah, maybe. Let's not talk about that. That makes me sad. All right.
Hey, so you brought it up, damn it.
I know.
We have a question, though.
We do. So we have a question from Aunt Meg who says, "Hi, ladies. I'm looking for suggestions on a wrap/shawl. My stepson is getting married, and I like to have an amazing shawl to wear over my dress. Dress is floor length, one shoulder, and black, so really anything goes. Just need a good pattern and also a yarn suggestion for a yarn that absolutely does not shed. Appreciate your help, Michelle." So I think the first thing, like approaching this question, is you kind of have to think about shapes.
Yes, and I would say, just in my head, I have a picture of the dress because you described it as black with one shoulder with a strap on one side, right?
Oh.
So I kind of think either a rectangular stole or a very soft crescent would work the nicest for something like that. Just because it kind of softens edges.
Yeah, I think a triangle is not as flattering for. I think a crescent or a circular shawl kind of flatters everyone.
Circulars are a little harder to wear,
They
but
are.
um, I think crescent might be the, what do we call it, consensus between the two of us at least.
Yeah.
I would also, you mentioned not wanting it to shed. I agree.
So I would look for maybe a 2-ply yarn that is not super tightly spun and plied, but definitely has some twist to it.
I also think a little bit of shimmer is appropriate at a wedding. So
Yeah,
something with a tencel or a silk content would be nice.
pretty pretty.
And in my head, you're wearing a sort of a silver or gray shawl. I think that would work nicely with the black dress, and it would can be incorporated into daily wardrobe later. Um,
So do you have yarn suggestions? I'm trying to.
I don't, because I hate to pin it down to a particular yarn because
Yeah.
she might have something in her stash that would work well, and there's no need to buy something new if that's the case. But
Ooh, I have something. Hold on.
in
Hold
your
on.
stash,
Yes, shut up. Hold on. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
yes, dear. Um, I don't know. I think definitely a solid color. I wouldn't do a variegated for a wedding, especially if you're the mother of the groom or bride.
Okay. So Ponky does this really, really pretty. It's her twinkle lace. I don't know if she still does it, but it's a silk stellina superwash merino.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, that's like the perfect color right there. That would
And
go
she does
wonderfully
it
with a
in,
black dress.
This is gray skies, of course, gray. And it's 875 yards, so it's a decent sized shawl at a lace. You know what this would make is an Irene Adler.
It would make a nice Irene Adler.
So anyway,
But in my head, I see a sparkly or at least shimmery gray crescent shawl, and I would even do one that has a long wingspan so it kind of curls
I
underneath.
do like Bunitz has some that are really, really pretty.
So maybe in the thread this week, if you're a viewer and you have great ideas that would work, maybe you should link them, and I'll link the name of the viewer who asked the question so you can hot link her if you have a suggestion.
Yeah. Also, what was I gonna say? It doesn't have to be lace too. Just because it's a shawl doesn't mean that it
That's
has to be
true.
lace.
Fingering weight is a great weight for lace as well for a
Well,
shawl.
it doesn't have to be lace.
The patterning,
That's
right?
what I'm saying, yeah.
I think
So.
a lace would be nice, or something very, very simple like garter or stockinette. I
Yeah.
think more garter than anything. But it takes me a year to pick a pattern, so
That's true. And Ravelry does have the pattern selection feature where
mhm.
you can go on and say, "Hey,
I
I
want a
want a
crescent
shawl.
shade. It
I
needs to
want
be
a
this
crescent
weight
shawl."
yarn. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can help take it down from
I
there.
love the advanced pattern search.
I do too. But anyway, there you go. But yeah, with yarn types that do not shed, just make sure you get something that's got a twist that will keep the short, especially if it's got shorter fibers.
Like cashmere.
Yes, that will keep those tucked in. I would say no to anything with mohair.
I agree.
Just FYI. You know what else is pretty? Like some of the older, there's the Victorian lace book that's got some really pretty stuff too, and Meg Swanson has a lace book that's really pretty. Anyway, just some thoughts. Thank you, Aunt Meg, for asking that question. That was a good
That
one.
was a good question.
You have some books that you've been listening to.
Yes, I. That's another reason I don't have a ton to show is because I'm working consistently trying to get through all of my fleeces and get them carded. Because in my head, during Spinzilla, during that 1 week, I'm going to get 4 fleeces spun.
You
Totally going to
totally
happen.
should. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, the idea is to get them all prepped, and the carding takes a while because I run it through 3 times because I like it to be very, very smooth so that all the work is practically done by the time I get it to the wheel.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important.
So I've been carding a lot, and while I do that, I listen to audiobooks. So I finished Pandora's Star by Peter Hamilton. It was a really long one, and it's a 2-parter book. So I finished the first part and just started the second part, which is called Judas Unchained. It's the same series, and it's science fiction, and people can live forever essentially because every 20 years they get a new body, and there's a lot to remember, but it's a good series. And then I already downloaded Peter Klein's new book. It's called The Fold. He's the one that wrote 14, which I've recommended several times. If you're into, it's mostly sort of modern fiction, but it's got sort of a sci-fi twist towards the middle and the end. If you liked 14, the same author has a brand new book called The Fold, which I've downloaded and I'm going to listen to on the way to Nashville.
Oh,
And then Ernest Cline has a new book. He's the one who wrote Ready Player One, which is a
okay.
huge book.
Yeah.
And they're making a movie, but they haven't done any of the casting yet, so I don't know who's going to be Will Wade, and I want to know. And I'm curious if Will
Who would
Wheaton.
you cast if you could
Oh, I
cast?
don't know. I don't care about that. I want to know if Will Wheaton's going to have a place in the book because he was listed in the book as like one of the governors of like this online thing, and then he
Oh,
read the book as an audiobook. And so I'm hoping he has some part in the
he has a
movie.
role.
That would
Oh,
be cool. So anyway, that comes out on the 14th of July, which is the day before SSK starts. So I've pre-ordered it, so I'll listen to it on the way back. So I have some great audio sort
cool.
of tuned up to listen to for SSK. Cannot believe it's only 3 weeks away.
I've been watching a lot of documentaries on Netflix and not been reading a ton. I watched Dear Mr. Watterson, which is about the creator of Calvin and Hobbes to some degree, but also comic book as art form advocacy, which was really interesting. Um, and I also watched again To Be Takei, George Takei,
George Takei, yeah.
his documentary, which is really interesting. What else did I watch documentary wise? Queued up a lot. I don't know. I enjoy documentaries, so I've queued up some about Eleanor Roosevelt and the Eagles and some other ones to watch. I've read some Tessa Dare historical romances. I'm actually done with her, so I have to move on to someone else. That's been it for me for reading. I haven't been reading a ton. I need to get back to reading YA because I've been super lazy this summer and I have to do some of that for work. So, and not because I enjoy it, but also because I need to be able to make fresh book recommendations in the fall. Jessica Day George has a new kids book coming out next month. She's the one who did some of my favorite fairy tale based ones, so I'm excited about that. Favorite things. We are obviously both participating in the Three Waters Farm scholarship. Well, not the scholarship aspect, but the spin along and
Yep.
along. Everything fiber and yarn wise should be there, so I'm going to actually delete that from the show notes. There's a thread in our Ravelry group with all the information on dates, and in probably around a month, Leslie will put up an FO thread.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going on. Stash Dash, like always, is going on. I think we're 4 weeks in, and I am at
Yeah.
3,000 meters, so I got to get my groove on.
Wow.
This cannot happen.
Jess is ahead of you, right? She's at 4,000 something, right?
She is, but I haven't applied this yet. I
Mm.
really haven't added everything up too, and I have to put those heels in those socks, so it'll happen. Um,
I
that
bet you
will
wish you could count every single ply now.
That's okay. I'd be done then. That would be boring. Yeah, because I'd have like 1,600 meters just off of this.
But
Sucker,
don't you feel
so.
like it's worth 1,600 meters?
No, I don't. Especially since I spun the singles back in October. Totally don't. I feel like it's worth 878 meters. So Stash Dash is going on. If you have any questions about Stash Dash, I had a couple questions this week. I've answered those, so you should be able. And there's some gorgeous stuff going on in that thread. So there's tons of inspiration.
Oh yeah, every Stash Dash, my queue grows by like 100. Because I go through and look at everybody's stuff, and I'm like, oh man, oh that looks great. You know.
One woman has a lefty on in her avatar, and her little daughter asked her to knit her a lefty. So she knit a lefty for her daughter, and it's rainbow. It's so pretty. But there's lots of great stuff going on in Stash Dash. Lots of inspiration there. So that's going on. We have 7,000 members in our Ravelry group.
Wow.
7,000. So thank you, each and every one of you. I'd say thank you 7,000 times, but we'd be here all the day.
Please.
But y'all are wonderful, and you are what makes this podcast a community. So thank you so much.
It would be very boring if we didn't have feedback and involvement. So
we wouldn't even record a podcast. We just Skype to each other. So, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything, and for all the wonderful people that we've met from our very first. I wonder who was the first person who joined besides us. It's probably Jessica.
I can look that up for you.
You should. I'm curious now. It might have been my mom.
While I'm looking that up,
I
also wanted to mention the roommate questionnaires. For everything else that we're talking about is SSK related, so if that isn't something that you want to listen to, it's totally fine. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff, let's see, members, download member list. All right. So I wanted to mention the roommate questionnaire I need from everyone, whether you are staying on site or not, doesn't matter. I need to rename that thing, but I can't think of a good name for it. Basically, it'll tell me whether you want a shirt, whether you want yarn or fiber or both, whether you want a water bottle, all that sort of stuff. So
why don't you just call it final questionnaire?
That sounds so boring, though.
Goodie bag questionnaire? SSK is a month away questionnaire?
Yeah, I need something like that.
OMG questionnaire?
Jessica was not the third person.
Who's the third person?
Scrambled 4?
Oh, that's Rita from the yarn shop.
Oh, and then CD Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And then Eloise. So Eloise was number 5. Aww. Emo was number 6. Where's Jess on here? Jess is number 53.
What? Why is she your friend?
Anyway, so
I should give Eloise a special prize this week for being number 5.
So roommate questionnaires, yes, I emailed everybody, but just a reminder, I need them as soon as possible because we're ordering shirts, and it's kind of my fault we waited late. Usually I have that out the first part of June, and it's just been busy this year. I just haven't had time. So apologies. And one more thing before Laura starts showing off some of the beautiful things we have to give away. Laura and I are totally willing to bribe you. We have a thing that we started last year called the Try It On Room.
Yeah.
And in that room we have shawls and hats and gloves and sweaters and tops, and we don't do socks because that just seems a little weird, but all sorts of garments knit by you, the community, where you bring them in and we label everything first so that we make sure everybody gets their stuff back. And this allows people to try on things in different sizes to see whether or not they would like to knit those types of things.
Yeah.
And we would like to incentivize that. We had some great stuff last year,
yep.
Especially in the smaller, I say smaller sizes, in the like
Well,
medium.
Amy Herzog brought her
Yes,
entire
and that
collection with
helped.
her.
But we don't have her this year, which is
No, we don't.
sad.
And Biscuit Girl brought her Window to the Soul, which I tried on, which has inspired me to make that. That's gonna happen. And then a lot of people tried on a bunch of different stuff, so it's good to have different sizes.
Yes, and that's really what makes it, is having, because Laura and I bring our stuff, and that's great, but the more stuff you can try on, the better idea you're going to be able to see what sort of things work for you, and the better you'll be able to pick things that you will like. So we're going to incentivize it by bribing you with door prize tickets, and we haven't settled on a number yet, but we will, and then we'll advise you. We'll talk offline and then let you know. But basically, we're going to incentivize you to bring garments, especially. Shawls and stuff are great, but I really want people to bring garments, tops, sweaters, cardigans, pullovers, that sort of thing. I really want people to bring those. So
Swants.
Swants would be great. That would be hilarious if somebody brought swants. I would totally try them on and let you take a picture.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that and then give you numbers so that if you have, and anybody can bring anything. We're not going to say no to anybody, but we would really like to focus on the garments this year.
Yep.
So.
And if you design something and want to bring one of your designs,
oh, absolutely.
That is awesome as
oh,
well.
Yes, absolutely. We have some great folks who design who are part of our event. So.
Yeah.
And Laura has some beautiful, beautiful things too, right?
What, for people to try on?
No, for
for door prizes. I was going to talk about vendors first.
Oh, yes.
We did have 2 vendors drop. Tempted Yarns has had a lot going on, and you can read about that on her group and her blog. Her son-in-law is very, very ill, so she will not be coming to vend anymore, and just sending her good thoughts, because we know that she wants to come, but she just is not able to do that right now.
Yes. She's a personal friend of both of ours, but
and you can read in her group and on their care page more about that. And then Desert Vista has become so popular
that it's impossible for her to die enough to bring.
Yes. So
and that's a good problem to have.
It's all the Yarn Harlot's fault. So she's had to, she'll still be at SSK, she's still coming as a participant, but she's not going to be vending anymore. But plus side, 2 Guys Yarn Company is coming, which I'm super excited about. They have gorgeous solids and tonals. I bought a sweater's worth from them at Stitches South and got to meet them, and they're very nice gentlemen, and they will have sweater quantities, I'm pretty sure, because I bought a sweater quantity from them at Stitches. And they have a cool Tweety Fleck, like Tweety sock yarn. So they will be coming in her place.
Yes.
So we're super excited to have them. We're sad that Susan won't be able to vend, but she still sells online, and she's got some gorgeous stuff. I just bought Harold and the Purple Crayon into my house. But she just released her 60s colorways, and there's Batman. I'm so excited. Like the Adam West Batman.
Yeah. The pow and bam.
Yes, that's my favorite of the Batmans. So, because I like kitschy, lame stuff. But that's what needs to be on Netflix. Anyway. So we're sad Susan and Tempted won't be there, Stacy, but we're super excited that 2 Guys has stepped up and they are coming. So that's exciting. All right, the very cool part, door prizes.
Yay.
So I'm gonna start with the first one. That's the best one, and Humberto keeps trying to claim it. I'm not saying that it's the best one. It's the biggest one for sure. Humberto keeps trying to claim it. He keeps pulling it out of the box and laying on it. So it is a Jordana Page bag. And it's actually the same bag Leslie carries around.
Yes, it's enormous. I use it to carry around my laptop and stuff.
So it is this sucker. It is absolutely stunning. It is bright blue, so you will not be able to lose it. When I unzip the top part, it's got all these pockets.
It's got 2 big main sections separated by a full width or full depth zippered section. It's got 2 interior zipper pockets. It's got little card sections. It's got a detachable little pouch.
There's an inside secret pocket. There's an outside pocket on that side. So lots and lots of good stuff.
And
so
big, deep straps.
Yes. So, and Humberto likes pulling it out, not of the, it's on the white bag that he likes pulling down and laying on, because he's kind of a jerk like that. So you're stealing Humberto's bed, whoever wins this. Hope you're happy. No, I'm being silly. So that is the great big one. I'm making sure it goes back in the white bag because he will try to steal it again. So, and I think the value on that is like $150.
Yeah, it was a pricey bag.
So that one is huge. Other awesomely great door prizes, Dragonfly Fibers gave us one of their Ashburn kits. So you get a Melanie Berg pattern, the Ashburn pattern, which Leslie is actually knitting another pattern by her right now, Joker and the Thief. And then 3 skeins of Dragonfly Fibers, gorgeous yarn. This retails for $81. It's in her dragon sock. So really pretty.
Yeah.
She let me pick the color, can you tell?
I like it.
I love it. Hey Lady, whose stuff sells out so fast. She does a lot of organic stuff, and she's from Hey Lady Hey. Hey Lady Hey. I don't know why I keep calling her Hey Hey Lady. In my head,
I was going to correct you, but I was like, I don't want to be a jerk. I'll just, whatever.
No, you can be a jerk. Hey Lady Hey, who's got the cutest daughter ever that we met at Maryland. She sent some gorgeous fiber. And this is bespeckled number 3. It is Targi. And then she also sent some of her organic merino fingering weight, which is 462 yards in the heirloom colorway.
Oh, pretty.
It's really, really, those two really go together. Infinite Twist sent 2 kits. This is the DWBU cow kit. It's 100% of her hand spun wool in mixed greens. 390 yards. So there's that.
Some beautiful colors.
Yeah, I love her hand spun stuff. It's
so crinkly.
Sorry. And then more crinkly.
Make things less crinkly.
This is the Halo Heather Frost on the pumpkin colorway, 550 yards. And this is to make the waffle knit scarf. And it comes with everything you need, including a tapestry needle, the pattern,
needles.
The needles, stitch markers, all sorts of stuff. And that's really pretty as well. Alright, everything from now on should be less crinkly. Coop Knits sent 2 of her, I want one of these so bad, 2 project bags. This one says socks, yay! And this one says the never-ending quest for warm feet. She also sent, really want these bags though, especially the gray one. She also sent copies of all her books. So Coop Knit Socks Volume 2. Not all of them because she's got a ton. Coop Knits Toasty. And Coop Knit Socks. So 3 very awesome books from Rachel Coopy. If you've not checked out her books before, they are wonderful. We love them.
They're great, solid books.
Yep. And then, and great sock projects, for sure. Toasty's got some great other accessories. Marigold Jen sent 4 skeins.
Oh, I love Marigold Jen.
She sent Daydream, which is 100% BFL Superwash.
That's the one that I picked up like 4 times at Maryland in different bases.
So pretty. And then she also sent a little kit, which is Heels and Toes. It's What the Fox Says and Floyd.
Those really go great together.
Yeah, those are really pretty. I was hoping that she had sent some for us. I was totally calling dibs on that one. And then she also sent Bluegrass, which is worsted weight.
Oh, that's nice.
It's really pretty, solid green. And Midsummer Night, which is a sock weight singles merino silk. That one's really pretty as well. And then we are doing 20 today because I have gotten so many that if we just do 15, we'll run out of time. Daisy sent some stuff for everybody's goodie bag, but she also sent the Thinking of Mel colorway of her lace.
Oh, that's really nice.
This actually would be pretty for that shawl as well.
Yeah, it would.
A little bit variegated, but very pretty as well.
I like the sparkle.
Yeah, it's got different tones of gray. I'm totally all about that. Knitting and Color sent 2 skeins. Now, all of our vendors usually give us projects they give us their door prizes. So we have typically run 20 more door prizes, but Knitting Color said she wanted to be on the show too.
That's smart, yo.
I like how she's got them packaged in more cellophane for Leslie. This is Lisa Frank Zebra and the acoustic sock. It's 80% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 400 yards.
That makes it 105%.
Yes. Does it?
You said 80% merino, 25%
yeah,
nylon.
It's 105% awesome.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Sorry about that, Knitting Color.
Sarah's my favorite. This one's 75-25, so that equals 100%. It's super fun.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, I really like this.
What is it? Super fun?
Super fun.
Oh, okay.
It's in her hardcore sock. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. I really like that. I'm gonna have to pick that up at SSK. And then last but not least, I love the Sheep's Company. We met them, not met in person, but when we were doing Expand Your Horizons and we did Shetland, she really helped expand our horizons. And this is a Shetland black 2-way ombre. 5 ounces. Sweetie and Rachel were the 2 sheep that generously provided this fiber. So she's really, really sweet. You can check her out.
Yeah, I've spun that.
This one?
Well, clearly not that exact one, but
An ombre from her?
Yeah, an ombre from her, and it was great. It was very smooth spinning.
Cool. And so next week we will have 20 more door prizes, and then the following week we will have 20 more door prizes, because I have around 80 already here, and more people sending some every day. My postman hates me so much.
He's going to hate you a little bit less this year because we're sending a lot of stuff directly to Scarrett Bennett.
Yes.
Not door prizes, but other items that we need to be ready, and so we're sending a lot of the big, heavy stuff straight to Scarrett Bennett.
Yep. So he still hates me because I'm giving the door for all the awesome door prizes and a big bag from Hello Yarn today. For I caught her update.
So
I got a patchwork quilt, a patchwork kit, not a patchwork quilt, but a patchwork kit. So, because I need them to do that thing, the pop. Yeah, the pop. So obviously,
clearly.
Seriously, why would I not? So the plan is to do Navajo plaid, that middle part. Anyway, I think that's it. Anything else for SSK?
I don't think so. If you guys have any questions, we're less than a month out, so if you have any questions, feel free to email Laura or myself.
Yep.
I may not get back to you immediately, but I promise I will get back to you. If you want an immediate answer, Laura's better than me at that answer.
Not when I'm flying. I would probably do that. Shenanigans.
And you can always ask the group, because we have a lot of people who are repeat attendees. Yeah. So, and they sort of know. Yeah, they already kind of know the lay of the land. So, I think that's it. Okay. So, oh crap! I have another thing on the needles.
That's the best. What's that?
I was trying to knit Jack, remember? And my stitches, my gauge was off.
Oh yeah.
I have 10 things on the needles.
That's awesome.
I'm in double digits.
10 things on the needles.
All right. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you again next week.
Bye, y'all.